I would love to do a study on this, Craig, because I'm very curious. Why do people go more tilted when they're playing
Casino trip, full of chips. Wanna flip, double it.
Welcome to the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you'll never lose, where the stakes are high, the takes are bold, and the conversations are always full of chips. With your hosts, Chris, the Dice Degen, and Craig from Old Bay Craps. You're tuned in to Full of Chips, the podcast where we dive into our own experiences into the world of gambling and share stories straight from the casino floor. Whether you're a recreational gambler, a seasoned pro, or just curious what the buzz is all about, you're in the right place. Each week, we break down the games, talk to the experts, and bring you tips that could tilt the odds in your favor. So grab your lucky charm, stack your chips, and let's roll into today's episode.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 41 of the Full of Chips podcast, the only chips you will never lose, with your hosts, Chris the Dice Degen and Craig from Old Bay Craps. Craig, how are we today?
We are in pain. Just
Pain.
normal chronic pain. Maybe it comes with the age. Maybe it comes with marriage. No, just kidding. Probably age and weight and mismanagement of everyday nutrition. So
There you go. There you go. I mean, that'll do it to you. That'll do it to you.
ugh.
It's funny. I don't know if age has. I think it's just what we put our bodies through. Because I mean, I'll tell you, I wake up in pain a lot, and I'm not that old. I'm not saying you're old either, but the sports injuries have definitely caught up with me over the years. Like I can tell when it's gonna rain because my knee starts to hurt, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna rain.
You should be a forecaster. They make $4 million a year.
Yeah, those people have the best job in the world. I think I've said it numerous times. That's the job I want when I come back. If I was smart, if I have kids, when I have kids, I'm gonna make sure they are meteorologists. I'm gonna tell
There you
them,
go.
like, listen, only one job you're going for. I don't care if you don't like it. You're gonna get paid a shit ton of money to maybe be right. Like, what a life.
Right.
You're
I'm
on
gonna make you.
TV all the
I'm gonna
time.
make you learn about sweeps. You're gonna do it. You're gonna find
Yeah.
out when the sun and the moon and all that and the temperatures and the barometer. I want you to know all of it because it pays
I don't
well.
even need to know that stuff. Just learn how to read the teleprompter. That's all I need you to do because the stupid system is going to tell you what it's going to do. Because then when you're wrong, you can sit there and be like, "Oh, well, the model was off."
You could have it's the only job with no accountability.
It's incredible. It's incredible how wrong they can be, still get paid, still have a job, still be on TV 3 times a day, every single day. Good for them, I guess.
I think what's interesting is we're recording out of sequence, which
We
is
are.
always can be difficult at times and sometimes fun and sometimes just we gotta. It's the fact that Chris and I didn't want to go a week without seeing each other
That's
and
what it
talking
is.
shit. So here we are recording out of sequence just so we can fill time.
Everything's out of whack, though. We're recording out of sequence. It's light in here today. I mean, what a concept that is. Usually people see the darkness of Degen's dungeon over here, but today you get to see some light. You're welcome, folks at home. If you're listening to the audio, there's some sunlight behind me right now because we're recording earlier than normal, because we have some very important business to attend to this evening. Both of us, that is.
Yes.
So, we will be partaking in that. But yeah, it's out of sequence.
The only thing out of sequence is my sports betting. So I don't know if we don't have to talk about that, but I just wanted to put it out there that definitely things are not working in my favor and I'm taking another break. So I was like, well, then I don't have to fill my evenings with movies to keep myself from watching sport. It's
There
the
you go.
watching of the
Well,
sports that makes you want to bet.
it's funny. I'm a bachelor this week and weekend, because the wife is away. So normally we watch a lot of her stuff, and I have sports on TV. No, I shouldn't say this because she listens to this and she can be like, "We don't watch my stuff. We watch our stuff." Excuse me. Okay, we watch our stuff. She watches her stuff when I'm recording this stuff. But we have our shows that we like to watch those, and then I usually have sports on my iPad or on another TV or something that I can, keep up to date with what's going on the sporting front and all that kind of stuff. But this weekend and this week, she's not here. The TV is just totally in DJ's control. He just gets to pick what he wants. Now, I will say, the wife is a big sports fan, and she likes to watch sports, so she doesn't have a problem watching sports. Sometimes I just feel bad, like making her watch sports when teams like getting shit on, like the Phillies recently, right? Like I feel bad making her watch the Phillies. I mean, I feel bad myself watching the Phillies because they're a horrific team. So I'll put them on the iPad and then, we'll watch whatever we're watching. But like playoffs and stuff, that she'll watch. We were watching the Flyers the other night. Good times.
No, it's playoff season between basketball and hockey. Both of them are going to go for the next few months. So
I know. It's exhilarating. The one thing she really won't watch with me is golf. That she's like, turn that shit off.
I would watch that with you.
Yeah, you would watch it with me. She'll watch like Sunday of the Masters. She was watching like that with me, right? But like normal tournament, she's not watching that. She's like, can we switch this? Can we put something else on?
Well, I have been watching.
To which I will typically say yes.
I have been watching a show with my wife. She found it. It's called Running Point. It's about basketball. It's about basketball, a franchise, with Kate Hudson.
We've
So
watched
it's a
it.
comedy. So
I've
we've
watched
been
that
watching
show.
the second. I think the second season drops today or tomorrow. So we're all set. We watched the first season. Finished that last night. So it's a pretty good show, and it happens to take me right into the playoffs in the evening. So I'm a late owl. Are you a late owl?
Oh yeah, late owl, and an early bird as well.
Yes, yes. It
We
doesn't
both
matter
are,
what time
'cause
I go to bed. I still wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
yeah, Craig and I are texting at like 11:30 midnight half the time, and also firing text at 5:30 in the morning because
Yeah.
yeah, Harrahs is brutal. The craps table is typically shit. Nobody can shoot for shit there. It was terrible yesterday. Literally, like I was at the craps table. I only played craps for maybe an hour. I shot 4 times in an hour, if that helps you with how quickly. It was a pretty full table too. 4 times in an hour.
So it might have been a good time for some lay bets.
Would have been a good time for some lay bets, but DJN wasn't laying shit because there was a guy playing dark, and the clientele at Harris Chester's not the greatest. And there was a guy playing dark, and he was getting a lot of heat for it and stuff. Now, stuff doesn't bother me usually, but just didn't see a need to. I just didn't play on a lot of people. I had one decent roll. The rest were pretty bad, like average. But Blackjack was a nightmare.
Oh,
Nightmare.
that's like double sword there. Boom, boom.
Yeah, the dealer pulled me, the guys at the table. So they were all playing the side bets. And they got quite a few hits on the side bets. I would have hit a few of the side bets. They have the match and the lucky ladies there. I don't really play either one of those often, so it's not in my typical play style, so I'm not gonna be mad.
Yeah.
I would have hit a couple matches, couple lucky ladies, but there was 4 hands in a row. Get this, you ready? First hand, dealer 5 card 21. I was like, okay. Blackjack for the dealer. Blackjack for the dealer again. I was like, oh, here we go. And then we pull 7 card 21. I was like,
Jesus.
yep.
That's where I get up from the table. I'm like, that. No thanks.
Yeah, I should have got up then. I didn't. I kept playing. And it did not go very well from there.
It really is about hope. You want there to be a good run, an occasional run, or any kind of run. And when it's just shit after shit after shit, you're like, why do I keep playing? Why do I keep playing? Stop playing.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like I had a lot of good hands, especially playing blackjack. Like I had great starting hands a lot of the time. It's just I was still getting beat. Dealer was pulling cards and just beating me, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, they can't keep beating me, can they? Well, yeah, they can. But then once I started getting shit hands, and I don't. It's funny how this always works. Dealer has a 6 up, the bust card. You're like, oh, great. I got 20. I'm fine. Nah, 6 card 21. I'm like, oh. Meanwhile, I get a 16. I pull a 10 every time. Like, I can't tell you how many times I hit on 12 and 13 and pulled a 10.
Yeah.
Every time. It's just unbelievable.
That shit happens too much. Same thing's been happening in sports betting for me. Like I keep seeing these scenarios that I'm telling you, Chris, it's making me think there's a conspiracy theory happening. And it's these games where these basketball games where it's first quarter, they project 43.5. Second quarter, they project 47.5. Out of nowhere, coming out of halftime, they project 32.5. And to the degenerate, you're like, Fuck yeah, those will look good, pretty good odds. They scored 26 in the third quarter. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you just scored 64. I'm not kidding you. You just scored. This one was second quarter. They scored 71 points. They scored 26 in the third quarter combined.
There you go.
Combined.
There you go.
So I'm going to start thinking and betting as, hey, I got to believe that out there are coaches that have good halftime speeches. And then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden you start seeing more defense in the third quarter. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start betting the under more for third quarter now. But man, I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games I lost by a half point.
Get hooked.
A half point.
Mm-hmm. The hook gets you. It's unbelievable how like it's actually uncanny how close they are all the time with that stuff. And even like when you move lines and stuff, it seems like every time you move a line a little bit, it's like you're still not moving it enough.
But it's like I keep seeing games where they score 42 in the first quarter, they score 44 in the second quarter, they score 17 in the third quarter, and then they score 54 in the fourth. It's a blowout. Like, why isn't the one team who's up slowing the game down? Because
They
I'll
don't.
take the under in the fourth quarter. They fucking go
Yep.
past it by 17 points.
It shit's dead with 5 minutes left to go in the game. And we're talking overseas basketball, right?
Of course.
Of course, of course. See, for the folks at home,
NBA. Fucking Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic had shit games last night.
yep.
And what was it, 42, 43 points in the first quarter? Nobody could find the
Mm-hmm.
fucking basket. I think they missed like a combined 67 shots.
Yeah.
Like how did you forget how to play?
It's actually ridiculous watching some of these guys. They're professional athletes, and like the shots they're missing are unbelievable. And like, yeah, I know people are gonna miss every once in a while, but like we're talking like for 5, 6 minutes straight, you score like one basket. Like you're getting paid millions of dollars to shoot the fucking basketball, make a shot. And
How consistent
when you're
has
talking,
Reed Shepard been on threes? And I never go high. I always go two
yeah,
threes. He missed 5 shots and they weren't even close to one of them was an air ball. I'm like, Reed Shepard threw an air ball. Really? I've never seen
yep,
that shit before, except after I bet it. Yeah. Um,
yeah. Well, it was funny. I saw something for like the Warriors during the playing games or something. The game Steph Curry went off. Everyone's like, "Oh, first game back, under on all his plays."
he
He
went
blew
off.
the under in the first half. I think he was over his over already,
What do you have?
and
6
I don't
threes
know
in
how
that
many
comeback
threes.
game?
Yeah,
Dick. Like,
no, it's crazy how some of these sports things work. And then like trying to bet on the fucking NFL draft, and I can't bet on it. They won't
it
let
won't
me.
let you?
Mm-mm. Won't let me bet on the draft. I'm like, what the heck?
You use the what's it called? Fans?
I use all these, but I have FanDuel, Fanatics, Bet365, Caesars. I got them all.
What do you
None of
like?
them.
What do you like best, or do you always spread them out?
So I always look for the best lines, but in terms of which is never on Caesars, let me tell you, Caesars never has the best lines. Caesars lines suck. But for soccer, I like betting on Bet365 a lot. For like player prop stuff, I do a lot on Fanatics. And I spread them out. It's usually whoever has the better line on things is where I'm placing the bet at. But like certain books are good for certain things. So like for soccer, for example, which I bet on a lot, Bet365 is really good because they have this sub play on feature where if your player gets subbed out and you have player props on them, the person who gets subbed in then carries on the prop. So like for example, right, let's say I'm playing and I have me to have, 2 shots on target, right? And let's say I get 1 shot on target, but then coach subs me out of the game but puts you in the game. Well, if you get a shot on target, then that bet cashes because it's the person and then also their sub counts as well,
Right.
which is nice. For other player prop things like NFL basketball, I like Fanatics because if anyone gets hurt in the first half, they'll void that leg of the bet, or they'll just void
DraftKings,
the
I
bet.
think changed their rules because I've noticed that they'll void a player who gets hurt regardless.
Okay, so that's good. FanDuel is literally first quarter. That's it.
Yeah,
Like if someone gets hurt in the second quarter, you're screwed.
I'm convinced FanDuel's the worst of all of them.
Yeah. I had to fight FanDuel the other day.
Another account, secret account.
No, not a secret account. They just scored a bet wrong. And I'm arguing. First of all, their customer service, the people who work there, I don't know what they're doing. They're so stupid. They don't like. I swear, half the people who work customer service never placed a bet in their life.
Right.
And like, I can understand like if the bet needs to be settled or whatever, but like, don't tell me I'm wrong when I'm not. Like, I've been betting for a long time. I know how every bet gets paid out. Like, I understand the rules of all the bets. I had baseball props in, and I had I had a parlay of 3 guys, 2+ total bases, and the one leg was graded as a loss. And I'm like, how'd this bet lose? The guy hit a home run. Like, he had 4 total bases on the home run alone. And I'm going back and forth with them, back and forth with them. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, can you pull up the stats for this person on this game? Because he hit a home run. And he had 2 other hits that day. Now, technically, he only had 1 other hit because one of them was a fielder's choice.
Yeah.
But he ended the game with 5 total bases, right?
Including the home run.
And including the home run, which is 4 total bases right then and there. And they're telling me he didn't have more than 2. The home run wasn't getting registered. So he had the hit, got to first base, and then, I don't know, it was double play or something. But then the fielder's choice doesn't count as a total base. And I know that it doesn't count as a total base.
Right.
Even though he was on first base, I know it doesn't count as a total base because it's the fielder's choice. I get that. And this guy's arguing back and forth with me that the fielder's choice doesn't count. I'm like, I don't give a shit the fielder's choice doesn't count. I know it doesn't count. He had a home run.
He crossed
He didn't
all
have a
4
home run that
bags.
game. Yeah. It was like, he did not hit a home run in this game. I'm literally sending him screenshots of like ESPN's stat book for the game. And then, let me review this. So he goes to like a supervisor review or whatever. I mean, and this wasn't like in like a 10-minute span. This is like over 3 hours.
Jeez.
And then they put my account under review, and I'm sitting here. I'm like, just cash the bet. Like, he hit a home run. The guy even acknowledged he hit a home run after a while. I'm like, so what are we doing? Then they're like, you could see the money in your account in like 2 business days. It's my fucking money. Pay me.
Bunch of dicks. I came across last night, I think it was, what was the late game? Thunder and who was it? Thunder and the Suns, Phoenix Suns.
Sure.
So the app, DraftKings app,
Yes, you're correct. Thunder and the Suns
froze. So I'm trying to update, and I see it doing the, pull it down, and it does the little spin and updates. It's stuck on 7.5 minutes. I'm watching the game. The game says 4 some minutes left, and I'm like, what the hell? Because I would have cashed out on one of them, but it wasn't updating, so I didn't know what the true cash out was. And then I wound up losing the bet altogether because they removed the cash out at one point. But it's like your app froze on a live game.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. These sports books, man, they'll get you. And Craig, I think our topics today are very worth talking about because they've been hotly debated.
Well,
in the crap circles.
If the audience hasn't seen already, DJ's wearing a red hat. Emphasis on the red. Because
Emphasis
we're
on
talking
the
about red and what people do when they want red to come in craps. And that's the lay bets.
That's the lay bets. Craig, before we get to the lay bets, though, we have a very important question first. What are you drinking tonight?
I'll have you know, OBC went to the liquor store and he got himself some more Bullet bourbon. So we got Bullet bourbon with some caffeine-free Coke.
There you go. There you go. Yes, I pulled a Craig. I don't think it's even pulling a Craig at this point. I think it's just how we roll on FOC these days. So I made my drink in the FOC cup, and I was pouring. I must have been distracted. Next thing I know, there was no room for Diet Coke. Literally 0 room for Diet Coke. So I had to pour it into the tumbler. But I have Makers and Diet Coke. But when I poured it, there was no room. Like, there wasn't even room for a little bit of Diet Coke.
Not even a splash. Couple of drops.
No, because I poured, and then I went to grab some ice, and I put some ice in. And then I was like, oh, that's not enough. Let me get a little bit extra going here. And for some reason, it was like a waterfall flood coming out of the bottle. And there was no room. So I was left with a couple options. Put it in a bigger vessel. That was option number 1. That's the option we went with. Option number 2 was no Diet Coke at all and just, do the episode with straight bourbon in front of me, which I mean, not the worst thing in the world.
Shit,
Or
shit, you'd be
option
shit
number
faced before the top five.
I know, which I had to make sure I was okay to get to the top five. So, but no, it's all right. It's all right. But some people at home may need extra alcohol when they're listening to this because there's some people who hate lay bets. And we're going to talk about lay bets today. So, Craig, the question is to lay or not to lay?
Oh yeah, no, you are right about that because we got two topic heater here about discipline, temptation, and the age-old phrase, "Just one more number, one more number." Well, just one more number is a lot of what the light side players say. The dark side players say, "Bring me the seven." Uh, it's kind of funny because I think you and we like to play both sides, but we don't always get the chance to play both sides depending on where we are, what event we're in. If we're in
Uh-huh.
AC, you'll never see us playing uh, these bets unless it's specific for the bonus, which we'll get to. But at our locals, I don't think Chris and I have any problem playing lay bets or don't come bets. But we're not talking about DC. Don't don't pass today. We're talking about lay bets. Um, yeah, the decision to lay a number. It can be emotional, it can be
Mm-hmm.
mathematical, but it's your choice. And laying a number, I would think it makes you feel like you're in control, but you may not be in control. So, Chris, in your opinion, because I know you've played more dark side than I have, especially at your local, do you like playing lay bets on the come out, or do you like playing lay bets during play when the puck is on?
So I don't like laying things on the come out necessarily, unless somebody's throwing a shit ton of come out sevens, then I'll maybe lay something. What I typically do when I'm laying is I'll lay the point a lot of the time. Or I will lay maybe a number that's gone kind of cold. If someone's having a good roll, maybe I'll lay that. But more often than not, I don't actually lay very often. I would rather just straight DP, straight DC. You will see me put maybe odds on that kind of stuff. But if I'm laying something, it'll be typically to lay a point. That's when I do play dark sometimes, especially when you have people who are, may say something or whatever. Again, like I said earlier, not that I give a shit what people have to say. Um, but I am a courteous dark side player if I am playing dark. So I may not have like a DP out there just because I'm in a prime landing zone for somebody. Which yes, I do give up some money. Have to pay some additional vig and stuff if I am gonna lay the point. But I am courteous. And sometimes I like to lay just because it come out sevens and other stuff, but you will see me lay a point sometimes. Um, and we're gonna get into laying bonus bets and stuff like that later, but that's where I'll lay more potentially depending on the situation. But I like to lay the point more, and occasionally I'll lay a number if it was hot in the beginning and now it's kind of gone cold during a roll. Sometimes I'll lay that one. What about you?
We've talked about that. Remember, I think it was a couple episodes ago. We talked about if you're on a long roll and you see a number disappear that was hot in the beginning, take it down to minimum bets.
Mm-hmm.
The only alternative I could think of is if you see a number that's just not hitting anymore, lay it because the likelihood is it's probably not going to come back. It does occasion those numbers that go away occasionally do come back, but it's usually for one roll only. But
Yeah.
oftentimes, once the long roll has gone from sixes and nines over to fives and eights, lay the six, lay the nine. Obviously, the biggest problem with lay bets is your exposure, right? It's the risk because you're having to put
Yeah.
up more to win less. And let's just put out an example in case there's some beginning players who don't know what a lay bet is. If you're on the if the puck is on or off, doesn't matter. If you're laying the 4 and 10, they seem to be the easiest because the 4 and 10 when you buy the bet pays 2-1. When you lay the bet, it pays 1-2. So if you have $50 lay on the 4, you're going to win 25 and the vig. The vig's always going to be a
Yep.
part of it. The vig's going to be a part of, I believe, any lay bet, correct? Um,
Yes.
that's different than the vig on a buy bet because
Mm-hmm.
non-buy bet numbers, typically 5 through 9, although we know in Mississippi and Biloxi that you can you can buy the 5 and 9. But those numbers don't typically have vigs at all. but the 4 and 10 do once they become buy bets, which usually it's minimum $20, and then it becomes a buy bet automatically in a lot of casinos. But for lay bets, it's the opposite. So if it pays 7-6, or I'm sorry, if it pays 6-5 odds, like on the back of a pass line for a 6-8, if you lay the 6-8, it pays 5-6. So it just swap out and switch out what it pays. So you have to put more out there to win less. So it's a very low house edge, but it's a lot of risk and exposure up front. The problem that Chris and I see, and well, let me go in first to have I ever done the lay bet? Yes, I've actually laid the back wall. I've done it a couple of times. And if I do, I'll lay it for 180. So that's just 30 on every bet because all the numbers are divisible by, 30 or 3.
3 or
Um,
2
or 2, yeah,
or 5.
or 5. But if you have a $30 bet on all the box numbers, on the 4 and 10, you'll get 15 for the 30. On the 5 and 9, you'll get 20 for 30. On the 6-8, you'll get 25 for 30. You do have to pay a vig. Obviously, some places, usually East Coast, you have to pay the vig up front. Vegas, you usually pay on the win, but you will pay a vig on a lay bet. But laying the back wall is pretty cool, and a lot of people do it on the come out because you can only get sniped on one number. You can't lose the entire 180. I can only lose 30 of it at a time, which means if I lose 30, I can still have a choice to bring 150 back to the rack if I want, if I don't want to keep it up. But
Yep.
you have to make that conscious decision. Do I lay or do I not lay? Some people will lay the 4 and 10 and play a don't pass. Some people will play a pass line and 2 lay bets because a 7 wins on all 3. Any way you can win money. Look, we've all seen cold tables, and not a lot of people lay enough on cold tables. They just keep striking, trying to get that light side rhythm going, and it's just not happening. A lay bet on, look, PSOs are your favorite thing for lay bets, don't come bets, and things like that. And don't pass bets. A 7 is your friend. But here's the thing, Chris, and you and I have played enough in various places, Vegas, Atlantic City, and others, that betting against the table energy is what people consider it to be. It sounds like it's harder than it sounds, but you get a lot of looks when you start doing lay bets, don't come bets, playing the don't pass. People think you're going against them when they don't realize you're doing the same thing. You're trying to win money from the casino. I don't see any problem, honestly, with doing that on a cold table. To me, tables are cold way more than they are hot. And if they're hot, they're hot for maybe one shooter. We've said before, it is very, and I think it just happened recently with Lou and Ted in Atlantic City, is that it is very rare to have back-to-back hot rolls. It does happen. It does not happen often at all.
Nope.
A hot roll, you can then have 2 cold shooters and then another hot roll or a medium roll and then 2 cold shooters. Like, trust us, it is cold more often than it is hot. So that begs the question, if you're trying to take advantage of every opportunity, why aren't you laying numbers on a cold table?
Good question. It's a good question. I think a lot of people get stuck on 2 things. One, the image, right? That they don't want to be betting against the shooter, which, again, I don't know how many times I have to tell people this. You're not betting against the shooter. Like, if the shooter 7's out, do you win? Sure. You're still not betting against the shooter. You're trying to make money from the casino in a different way. You can argue that point all different ways if people want to. The second thing that people get stuck on a lot, which you mentioned earlier, is the fact that they're risking more to win less, right? That's a big problem a lot of people have with lay bets in general, with playing dark, with doing anything that basically involves winning on the 7, is that you're risking more money to win less. Now, you are technically advantaged because once that bet is out there, if you are playing a don't pass or a don't come and you get it set somewhere, the 7 is the most common number, right? Whatever the roll is next, 7 will always be the most common number possible. Does it always work that way? Absolutely not. Guarantee you, first couple times you play don't, you'll find that people will snipe you off 4s and 10s more than you can believe, right? Same thing with the lay bets, that you don't have to worry about getting that bet out there because you can just place it. The thing is, though, that you are risking more money to win less. So it can get dangerous for a lot of people quickly when they start getting sniped off numbers and they want to increase their lay because, oh, this person's not going to throw another one. The 7's coming. We've said it numerous times on this podcast. There's no number that's ever due. The 7's not due. No number is due, right? If a number was due, then every single roll would fall into the law of averages.
Right.
It doesn't. It never happens, right? Why doesn't it happen? Because as we've said before, you're in a very small subset of time in a casino. If you took the casino's rolls for a year and somebody tracked them for a year, every single roll, every single minute, every single second, they might fall right within the average. They might not, right? They're probably going to be pretty close to the average, though. But when you go on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. and you're there for 2 hours, well, you're there for 2 hours of that really long duration in time, right? The game is built on averages. The game's not built on what happened in a 2 hour span on a random Tuesday. If it was, every casino would have different rules because there's different roles going on at every single casino. So, but I think a lot of people get stuck on the fact that you have to risk more to win less. And then it hurts, I guess, a little bit more when you get sniped off one of those because you technically were advantaged because you win on the 7. But now you find yourself, like if you lay a 4 or 10 for $50, now you find yourself having to win 2 of those just to make your money back.
Yeah. And those are some really good points. One of the things I really find interesting is you can't lay for minimum. You can
Nope.
win minimum, but you can't lay the bet for minimum. You can do a don't come for a minimum 15 on a 15 minimum table. You can do 15 don't come bets all day long. You can't do $15 lay bets. You got to do the minimum that's going to win you table minimum. And that's where your exposure goes up automatically. You
Yep.
can have very little exposure with don't come bets. Now, the advantage to both is you can take a lay bet down whenever you want. You do not have to keep it up there. It is not a contract bet. But you have to ask yourself, am I laying this number because it's a smart thing to do? Or am I just being impatient? And smart players will lay numbers only when it fits the plan and not the mood. You do not want to just switch gears because you're angry. You're like, shit's not happening. I can't seem to get a 6-8. So you start laying the 6-8. Well, guess what's going to happen? Somebody's going to get the dice and they're going to start rolling 6s and 8s and they're going to knock your ass off. Now,
that was me last night. That was me last night at Harrahs. So the table was brutal, as I said earlier. And there was a guy who was playing the don't. Okay. He bought in for $300 or something, all quarters, $50 don't. And then he would lay the 6 and the 8 if it wasn't the point. Right. So on one of my rolls, the one good roll that I had, come out, set the 6 as the point, right? So he has his don't on the 6, lays the 8 also. Well, Craig, you and I both know how much we love to snipe some of those players.
Absolutely.
My first roll was an 8 after I set the point of 6, so he lost his lay on the 8. A couple rolls later, I hit the 6, knocked him off the don't. What did he do? Went back on the don't, and I set the point at 9. Laid both the 6 and the 8. Next 2 rolls were 6, 8. This guy was getting pissed off, so he took the rest of his money and dropped at his odds on the don't pass. Well, a few rolls later, I threw a 9. This is where Craig's talking about the emotions, right? If you're playing dark, you're going to get hit. And I don't know why. It's actually, I would love to do a study on this, Craig, because I'm very curious. Why do people go more tilted when they're playing dark and losing than when they're playing light side and losing?
I think it's because you're getting hit with more money each time because you have to lay more to win less. So you're getting
probably,
if you're going 66 inside, but you're doing $100 lay and you get sniped on the lay, that's $100 versus just 66 inside. Which is funny because if you lose 66 inside on a PSO, you're like, damn. But you lose a $100 lay because somebody sniped you and established the point on the come out on the 4 and you had a $100 4. Yeah, you're fucked too. Like, I think it's so funny that you said that the guy was getting angry and perturbed. But that's the thing, everybody. Stop hating on everybody because just because I want to play a lay bet or play a dark side strategy or something, and I'm with people that want to play light side, the light side people get all pissy, with me playing dark. But the opposite happens too. If I'm doing light side and I'm sniping somebody who's going don't pass, don't come bets, now the dark side player's getting all pissy. Like,
Yeah.
we're all trying to win money from the casino. It's just we're doing it in different ways. But we're doing it because if you're doing it smartly, you're doing it because you're reading the table. And right now the table's cold and you want to the thing is nobody wants to stand at a craps table and not play at all. Like, okay, the table's cold. I'm just going to sit here and wait until somebody has a roll that's got like 5, 7 numbers in it, and then I'll start betting. No, nobody stands there and just doesn't play. So if you want to endure the time that you're there, and especially if you're there all day, you have to tell yourself there's no fucking way a light side player can constantly play light side all day long unless you've got an unlimited bankroll with you. You're going to have too much variance during the day, and you're going to have more cold than hot shooters. If you're one who's really taking advantage of everything at the table, you have to be willing to switch on and off between light and dark. I'm not saying hybrid because we all know hybrid play, you may lose less, but you're winning less too. Like you're just
Yeah.
you're never going to grow your bankroll playing hybrid. Now, with that said, I do enjoy, I have not done it in front of AC crew, but I've done it locally. I do enjoy laying the 4 and 10 and playing 66 inside because my lays cover the 66 inside. But I'll also do the iron cross as well with a 4 and 10 lay and the 5, 6, 8 in the field. And I'll try to do, 25 on the 5, 30 on the 6, 8, which is 70 or 85 total. And then I'm doing $200 lays on the 4 and 10. So if a 7 rolls, it pretty much pays for everything. It may not pay for the field,
Yeah.
but who cares? But and the thing is, as we may have talked before about an iron cross. The only really successful iron cross is if you have 3 times the bets in the boxes than you do in the field. If you have just minimum bets across everything, you're never going to win. It's too small. The wins are too small because you're constantly having to pay for the field when the box is hit. You have to start increasing your bets over time. So I've been practicing this, doing a 4 and 10 lay for 100 each, 66 inside, including the 9 and the field. So it's not really an iron cross, but it's sort of a inside cross, if you will, with a 4 and 10 lay. And the point is, first hit on the 9, you win double because you win in the field and you win on the box. So I increase both the 5 and the 9 by a unit. If it hits again, I'll start going individual. Like we've always said, go after individual numbers. So I'll start increasing the 9. The 9 goes from 20 to 35 to 50 and up like that. Now, if I get to a point where I think the inside's paid for, I may take the lays down altogether because you can do that. They're not contract bets. But more often than not, you do get sniped on either the 4 or the 10. But it does hit in the field, but it's really not enough to cover your lay bet. But if you're doing that, you have to make a decision on the other lay bet. Do I take it down? Do I leave it up? Most of the time, you're going to leave it up because you have the better house edge. And if your inside boxes are hitting, but you're covered with all the numbers for every roll. That's the thing. So I don't know. I've been practicing around with it a little bit, but I do find it interesting that there's ways you can play that caters to everything that you're going to see on a table. And if you're there for a long time, you have to be willing to play both sides. Even even heavy has said, if you're not playing both sides, you're not playing the entire game of craps.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who have strong feelings one way or the other on dark side, playing it, not playing it, all that kind of stuff. Ultimately, right, it's up to you how you want to play. Just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean you can't play it. It just, you got to do what you want to do. And if laying doesn't make sense to you, that's fine, right? You don't have to lay bets. If it makes sense to you and you like laying numbers, you can do it. Craig, I think it's funny too, because like a lot of people won't place lays, right? They're so against the dark side, but then when they're missing that number from the ATS or they're missing that fire bet, they're the first ones to be wanting to lay, but they don't know how much to lay for, and they destroy any sense of rhythm at the table. Why? Because they don't know what they're doing on the lay bet.
Majority of them, either on the fire bet or the ATS, they're so, especially the shooter, they're so in and focused on the shot that they're totally sometimes even forgetting that they've gotten down to just one number and that they can lay it. And they totally forget they could lay it. They're just so concentrated on the toss and, the possibility of the ATS hitting, they forget to lay the number. Obviously, you can't do it for a 2, 3, 11, 12 unless you're playing crapless, but I don't know. Crapless doesn't have,
It doesn't pay.
it doesn't pay.
There's honestly laying 2, 3s, 11s, and 12s. Like it doesn't really pay to lay it. We're gonna debate this now, obviously, but on crapless, right? Like to me, laying any of the extremes, it's stupid. Like if you're so worried about laying that number, you shouldn't be playing the bonus in the first place, in my opinion. If you're so worried about laying it now, if you're talking about the full ATS, then sure, we can talk about it because you're going to win a few $100s either way, and maybe that's a big win for you, right? Maybe it's double what you bought in for, and it makes sense to you. The problem is you're going to have to lay for probably more than you have in your rack if you're buying in for that little anyway. But I'm just gonna get it out there and say it. All right. If people are playing 5-5-5 on the ATS, I don't understand the point of laying. I really don't. Like, why are you laying to win $100 either way? The only way that I could logically make that make sense in my head is that you're close to your win goal and you're trying to lock it up either way. But like if you're gonna lay for the small and you're playing 5-5-5, why?
I don't know. Some people may be laying the number to win their bonus bet money. That's all. They're just trying to cover the bonus bet money.
I agree. The problem with that for me is the bonus is a bonus.
Right.
Right. So like people, and I know people are going to get real ruffled about this, and I can't wait, honestly. Like, please drop in the comments, send us an email, whatever you want to do. But like, I really do not see a point in laying 5-5-5. Like, you're going to win $150 if you hit the small or the tall, right? If you're playing 5-5-5, or 175 if you're playing with the proper ATS payout of 35-1, right? So you're telling me, and God forbid you have to lay a 4 or a 10 because this makes it even worse, right? But you're telling me you're going to lay for 150 to guarantee what, 75, $80 either way? Why?
Well, think about it.
Why though?
If you're laying the 4 for 150 to win 75, but if the 4
you can't lay it for 150.
If the 4 hits, then the small gets hit. You just lost 150. It pays you 150. You just broke even, except for your bet itself.
Now, I can understand lays on larger ATS bets, right? If you're going to play like 10-10-10, or you're going to play 25-25-25, or if you're going to play 100-100-100, right? I can understand laying in that instance because it actually makes a difference, right? Because like if you're playing 10-10-10, okay, and you're going to hit the small, that's $300. All right, then we can discuss a lay there, right? And I'm only talking about one side right now. Okay. I still don't think laying on 5-5-5 on a full ATS makes a ton of sense in my opinion. But if again, larger you play, the more sense the lay makes to me. Right? Because you're locking up money either way.
But here's the thing. A lot of the people that we know who do lay a bet for the ATS are not playing 5-5-5.
That's true.
They're playing 25-25-25 or 10-10-10 or something higher. And that makes sense because they planned it and they know I'm doing it because I'm guaranteeing myself 400 of the 1,200 overall that I could win. I'm guaranteeing 400. That way I can stand there and have the dice roll and not have to stress about it because I'm still going to win money.
Yeah.
That's where it makes sense. Like you said, the higher the bet, the more it makes sense. Now,
agreed.
On the fire bet, that's different because if you're laying the point, or I'm sorry, if you're laying the number for the 6th point, I mean, that makes more sense because the payout is so large. Because the 5 point is the equivalent of an ATS, but the 6 point is $5,000. So laying to get something instead of nothing makes sense.
So with me on the fire bet, right? And same thing with the ATS bet. It's payout dependent if I'm going to lay it or not, right? Again, 5-5-5, I don't see a point in laying, right? 4-point fire bet, I don't know what you're laying for. Okay? But if you have that 5th point, right? We could make an argument for the lay, right? You have the 6th point, we can certainly make an argument for the lay.
Right.
Because you're guaranteeing a huge chunk of change either way, right? I can get behind either one of those. Or if you're going to play the ATS for 25-25-25. right? We can discuss lays there all day long. But for the people who are playing, like, even if you're paying $1 on the fire bet, I'm not sure it makes a ton of sense to lay the sixth one.
But here's the thing: even if you're doing the $5 on the fire bet and you're laying for that sixth and final point, you've got to put a high chunk of change out there to
You
even
got to
come
have it.
close to winning half of what you would win if the fire bet hit.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that unless you got a large bankroll in your pocket, like a wad of cash just sitting there burning, waiting for
Yeah.
that lay. Nobody who's buying in for 600 has got the money in their rack to make a large
No.
lay bet like that. Nor are they going to
Well,
make the risk. I don't think.
true. No, I agree. Here's the other thing too, especially with the fire bet. A lot of people don't factor this in, right? Because some people may lay the fifth point, right? What if they snipe you off that lay? Sure. Yes, you're making money off the fire bet getting hit, right? Let's say you got $5 there. Okay. The 5 point fire bet's going to pay 249 to 1. So you're going to get paid $1,250, right? If that 5 point hits. But let's say you lay that fifth point, right? Let's say you laid it for, I don't know, 750, right? Or maybe a little bit less, 600. Let's say 600 because that works on every number. Right? Let's say you lay for 600. So now your 5 point fire bet pays half of what it was going to pay. Are you now laying the sixth point? Because like if you laid the fifth point, you sure as shit should be laying the sixth point. But are you factoring in your lay that you got knocked on already into the payout of the sixth point? Because then you're sitting here playing a whole game where it's like, well, yeah, I know I'm getting paid, but you're just diluting the win every single time. You're going to continue to lay the numbers.
But you have to be okay with that. Like, okay, so if the 6 point fire bet hits, that's typically, you can only pay a $5 bet on it. So it wins $5,000.
Yeah.
Are you okay with only winning $2,000? Are you okay with only winning $1,000 because you lost all the money that you put out there for the lay bet?
Yep.
It's a bonus. Like, it's what it comes down to, Chris. Like you said it before, it's a bonus bet. But people
Yeah.
put so much stock in the bonus bets and not enough stock, I think, in the box bets.
I agree. Now, the only thing with like laying an ATS for me, right? Even if you have 5-5-5 and you already hit the small or the tall, you're one number away from the all. Where I think it makes sense to lay is if you are trying to lock up a certain amount of profit, like that lay will get you to your win goal, or it'll get you back to even and you're done after that, or whatever it may be. Like I could justify a lay at that point, right? But the other thing too is if you are going to lay the numbers, right, know what you're going to do. So like, don't just say, oh yeah, I'm going to lay it. Know exactly how much you're going to lay it for, right? Because there's nothing worse than seeing somebody try to figure out what the hell they're going to lay a number for and then screw up the whole table because they were trying to figure out what the hell they're going to lay a number for. Like intentionally know your lays. And like you said, right earlier, the people who are playing at that higher level, they know their lays like that. The money's counted out already. They know what they're laying it for, right? No problem at all. But the people who then start getting in their head, they're like, well, do I lay it? Do I not lay it? Should I lay for that number? Should I not? 9 times out of 10, they have not a freaking clue in hell what to lay that number for. And then they sit there trying to figure it out. And at that point, shooter's screwed up. Everybody's screwed up. You might as well lay it for more than what the ATS is going to pay because they're probably going to throw a 7.
Look, it may temporarily reduce your emotional swing because you think you're covered, like you have the quote unquote win-win illusion. But
yeah,
the con is you're paying for protection you might not need. What if that shooter never hits that missing number?
Yep.
Like, you're shrinking your net win is what we're getting down to. You're shrinking your net win. I've hit a 5 point fire bet, and if I'd hit the 6 point fire bet, I know I probably wouldn't have laid the. I did lay the number. I didn't. I got the. I don't even think I got the 10 point established. I might have gotten it established, but I sure as shit didn't. I don't think I got it established. That was the thing. But if I had, I don't know if I would have laid it because God, the anticipation of winning $5,000 just would have floored me. But you're shrinking your net wins, and if the bonus hits, your lay bet dilutes the celebration. That's the thing. Like everybody's like, "Oh my God, we just won $5,000," and you're sitting here like, "I won 1,000 of it." You may still be excited as hell that you won 1,000, sure, but most of the people who are laying those bets for that kind of money, $1,000 nothing to them, and they're like, "Okay, that's like winning $100 for the Joe Schmo who's has a $400 buy-in."
Yeah.
but
I
you're
think,
betting against the very thing you want to happen.
yeah, to me, right, we've said it before, right, where the hedging doesn't work, right? Casinos love to watch you hedge, right? Because why? You win less and you lose more when you're hedging, right? Now, as soon as you drop that lay bet out on the ATS, casino loves it. Why? Well, they're guaranteed to get half of what you were winning. Now, yes, could they have paid out and lost, or could they have not had to pay it out at all? Sure. But when you put yourself in that position where you're going to lay for a certain amount to hedge, casino loves it. Casino loves hedges because they're guaranteed to win too, right? If you're laying for that small where you're only going to win 150 bucks and you drop an $80 lay on the 4, congratulations. You just turned what could have been $150 into at most 70 bucks. Casino loves it. They love it.
Yeah, I think we might have already said this, but um, when you're laying a bet for the bonus, you're betting your fear, like that it's not going to happen. But but by doing so, you're also willing to expose yourself more to make a guarantee. But again, there are people who have the bankroll and know that what they're doing. They know I'm guaranteed to win 400. I'm already okay with that. That was my plan coming in. If I got to that point, totally
Yeah.
fine. The majority of players, like I said, if they're shooting, they don't even think about, oh, I could have laid that number. That's not even a thought in their head. So if you're doing it like last minute, like, oh, can I lay that number? Like, and then you'll hear, how much can I lay it for? Like, if you don't know, why are you doing it?
Nope. Don't do it. If you don't like that's like that should be the tip of the episode. If you don't know what you're laying it for, don't friggin' place the lay because you shouldn't be doing it if you don't know what you're placing the lay for. And again, like we said, right? If you're playing those bonus bets at high levels, then ignore anything I said about lays because it does make sense when you're playing at high levels because you're guaranteeing a big chunk either way, right? Now, again, like Craig said, you're still laying against what you want to actually happen. But most of those people who are playing at those levels, like you said, haven't factored in, right? That they're going to lay for whatever number is missing if they can, right? But for the people who are playing like a 5-5-5 on the ATS and they don't know their lay, why are you laying? Right. It's the psychology. They want the psychological safeness of, oh, well, I'm going to win either way. Yeah, you are going to win either way. Congratulations. You're winning half of what you could have won. And then people are going to be like, well, if they roll a 7, then I would have lost everything. Okay, fine. You placed the bet in the first place. Were you expecting to win that bet? You placed it.
They want the insurance, which
that's what it is.
Casinos love when you pay for insurance.
Yeah, they love it.
I think what they're going into is our top 5.
I think so. Is it time for the top 5?
It's time for the top 5.
All right. Our top 5 today, Craig, is the top 5 reasons players lay a number when they shouldn't.
Yes, this is the top 5, hitting the sweet spot of the psychology of craps, the gap between what players think they're doing and what they're actually doing. So, Chris, what do you got for number 5?
All right, my number 5 reason why players lay numbers when they shouldn't is because they're trying to judge the momentum swings before they happen. They think they have a crystal ball. You don't. Right? Table's getting hot. Some people are going to say, well, it's been cold and it's going to get cold again, so I'm just going to start laying things. Or the table is turning cold. Well, I'm going to get out in front of this. I'm going to start laying everything. Guess what? The dice aren't going to perform according to how you want them to perform.
I like that. I went short with all of mine today. So
yeah,
no heavy explanation. You just, here it is. And my number 5, we've already talked about it. It's one of your favorite things to say. They think the number's due. It ain't due. Nothing's due in craps. Nothing's due at the casino. The only thing due are bills, payments, taxes. Those things are due. Your essay for college, that's due. But no, the number is not due.
Yes, that is factual. All right. My number 4, Craig, is they misunderstand the fact that they think they're winning more. You're not. All right. You think you're winning more frequently by laying. Well, guess what? Your wins turn smaller, your losses are going to be bigger, and you have to pay a vig on every single bet.
Chris and I can attest to this because we were at Parks and we're like, you know what? Let's just start off this session by doing don't come bets. And damn it, if we didn't get sniped off both our 5 and 9 don't come bets with odds. And Chris's mantra, don't get sniped more than twice. Well, we got sniped twice and stopped doing it. But you're right.
It's true.
All right, my number 4. They want to protect a bonus bet instead of trusting the roll. Laying that number becomes a form of emotional insurance.
Yep, that's true. That is true. All right, my number 3 is, and I already said this earlier, they try to hedge everything. They've got money all over the place, trying to play both sides at the same time. You're just adding more bets to dilute your wins. And one other item on top of that, because I forgot, you're putting yourself in a position where you don't even know what you want to happen. Like, do you want the bet to hit or do you want the 7? Like, which one do you want?
Right. So true. All right, my number 3. They're bored and want action that feels smart. Look, you can do both, but look, every time you decide to do both, you're not going to win the full amount.
Yep. X. All right, Craig, my number 2 is they're chasing losses. One of the worst things you can do in a casino. They're making an emotional reaction, trying to switch sides mid-roll. They're trying to up their risk when they're in a position where they should be lowering their risk.
You just did my 2 and 1 and 1. So I'm going to, my number 2, they confuse low house edge with low risk. That's not true. It's low house edge, but it's high risk because you're spending more to win less.
Yep. Very true. All right. Well, since we know what your number 1 is, my number 1 has already been said by you. They think that a 7 is due. Classic trap of all craps players. It's due. There's no way it's not coming. It's coming soon. Guess what? Every roll's independent. It's not due. It's literally the purest form of gambler's fallacy.
Yeah. Which leads into my number 1, Chris's favorite thing to say on all podcasts. They're chasing control in a game built on chaos. Stop chasing. You're chasing. You're chasing a portion of the bonus. You're chasing a portion of it. That's what laying the bet on the bonus does. You're chasing a portion of it. You decided I no longer want the full bonus payout. I just want to chase a portion of it.
And for some people, it makes sense. For most, it doesn't. And because I already know, Craig, there's going to be people in the comments. And like I said, please bring them on in the comments or emails or whatever saying that, like, it's a smart play to guarantee a win on either side. Sure, right? But how often does that lay actually work out? And how many times you have to hit that lay instead of just hitting the actual bet itself? So it's a great debate. I think we presented both sides quite well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Craig, we haven't given them the tip of the episode. So what is our tip of the episode?
Our tip of the episode is don't lay out of panic. If you're laying a number because you're nervous, you're already losing. Laying a number should be a strategic choice, not an emotional flex. If you're doing it because the table feels hot or because you're scared to lose your ATS or fire bet, you're letting your fear run your bankroll. The best players only lay when the math fits the plan, not when the moment pressures them into it.
Wow. Craig, I think that should be like a painting somewhere. Like that quote needs to be a painting in my room. Because that is very poignantly said. And it's exactly what we were talking about earlier, just stated much more eloquently, where in certain situations and at certain levels, it makes sense to place those lay bets. It's part of the individual player's plan. But when you're pressured into it because you're afraid to lose, bad spot to be. Like I said, don't place the bet in the first place. If you're afraid to lose it, don't place it.
I'm going to get it tattooed across my chest, that entire paragraph.
There you go. It might take your chest, your stomach, your abdomen, all of it.
Right.
Depends how small you want to go with the text on that. But no, it's a great tip of the episode.
It might have to be pretty lettering. I don't know.
There you go. Great tip of the episode. I think great episode. Great discussion though, right? I think this point of laying, especially bonus bets, is a hotly debated topic. I think people are going to stand on both sides of the fence on it. And I could see an argument either way. I'm going to tell you, I think my argument's right. I think Craig's argument is right. Just because we have pretty much the same argument. So, like, I think that's the right argument, technically speaking. But I know there will be people who are going to say that, oh, you're just stupid if you're not going to lock up money either way, which, again, like I said, I can see that side of the argument. But if we're locking up pennies, it doesn't make sense to me.
I have played light side, like a 3-point molly or something like that. And because of the table was going cold, I transformed it into a 3-point dolly. So it's like, again, if you're only playing light side, you're only playing half the game. And
Yep.
I love that quote from Heavy about that, because too often we played light side, and a lot of us just don't have the bankroll that some of you all have that have played this game for so long that you've been able to build up, a large bankroll. Like, some of us are still new at this. I still consider myself a novice, and it's like, I'd rather take advantage of everything. If I'm truly watching the table and watching what's rolling, you'd have to factor in, on cold tables and cold rolls, lay bets are going to be your best friends. There is nothing sweeter. Chris will tell you this. Now, this is not more so much lay bets or DC bets, but even lay bets, like when I've laid the back wall, there's nothing sweeter than to come out 7 and to have a whole stack of chips just pushed in front of you, because that's what you just won. Everybody else won their pass line bets for 15, but you just won 180 back wall lay, all of it. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely is. Great episode, Craig. Hopefully the folks at home liked it. We probably ruffled some feathers, but that's okay. That's what we're here to do sometimes.
Well, if we ruffle some
and like I
feathers,
said,
they need to have a place to find us to complain about it.
They do. They certainly do. Email FullofChipsPodcast@gmail.com. Full-length episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Short form content on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. And finally, the Patreon. Link is down below. Go join. Craig, take us out in episode 41.
All right. Don't let one missing number rent space in your head. Stay focused. Stay full of chips.